I have had people tell me on my wedding day, I knew it was a mistake. Now, if you got into this marriage with like a huge big secret, that's another thing. If you have all these issues or problems or things that you walked into the marriage and now you have to continue lying, we are allowed that time to grow and to figure things out. In that moment, our soul is being sort of pricked at, or like or it might be tearing apart. A lot of us haven't seen a beautiful, successful, loving marriage, and that's why we're just so freaking confused. We have no idea what the hell we're walking into or what it takes. I'm going to continue answering some questions on marriage, and before I start that, I just want to say that we become lost souls or fallen angels, and relationships 1000% contribute to that. And they're meant to teach us and grow us and push us and also give us a lot of freedom, liberation, and joy. How do we become a lost soul when it comes to our relationships? How do we find ourselves? And how does marriage and relationships contribute to that? Whether you're married or not, I'm glad you're here. Even better if you aren't married yet and you're watching this. And even if you are married, it's never too late to get things right for yourself and for your family, for the people around you, mainly for yourself. If we're not in the relationships that fulfill us and grow us and contribute to our expansion and joy and happiness and high vibrational life, we can stay a lost soul and just stay like that. And that's not what this life is meant for. You may have to go through that for a time period, but that doesn't mean you have to stay that way. The questions that I'm going to answer today, we're going to do two in this video. One was when to know when to let go. And the second one is, what is the biggest reason for divorce that I have seen? I don't think the person who asked this is married, so maybe they just wanted to know to prepare ahead of time what to look out for, what not to do, and things like that, which is wonderful. Because I don't think people become well versed in relationships or what it really takes for a marriage to work and they get married. One of the reasons why marriages don't work out, not because love isn't real, just saying. Uh, really, a lot of people do get married without understanding each other or committing to the idea and the sanctity of what a marriage is. Sometimes people get swept up in the moment. Sometimes people are doing it for their parents. Sometimes people are doing it because they think it's the right step to make because I've been with you so long. Some people do it because, oh my God, this person's going to leave me if I don't make that step. Many different reasons of why, instead of really understanding what the purpose of marriage is, how to sustain it, how to grow into it, how to be free with each other together. Because a lot of people feel trapped in a marriage. A lot of people feel like they're lying to themselves in a marriage or to each other in a marriage. A lot of people want to spend so much time apart because I'm tired of you already, because you don't have the necessary skills or spirit for a marriage. So the biggest reasons that I've seen is because you did not walk into the marriage, one, knowing what a marriage is and why a marriage, the function or the vessel, I think it's the vessel, yeah. The vessel of a marriage, like what is the functionality of a marriage for human to human? Maybe you could find statistics on, well, the biggest thing is cheating, or the biggest thing is I got tired of you, or of course there's abuse and neglect and things like that. However, the first real reason is you walked into it either underdeveloped as a person, or two, you don't understand what you just committed to and what it requires of you to be successful. What I mean by underdeveloped is, do you know how to communicate honestly? Do you know how to ask for your needs? Do you know how to resolve conflict? Do you know how to support one another? Do you know how to be patient and respect one another? There's so many things that is required. And again, you don't have to be perfect in a marriage or to get married. It's that sometimes people are not inspired to continue doing those things in a marriage because the reason why they got married was, again, because it's time, I'm getting old, I want to have children, or my parents are telling me to. In the Desi community, South Asian community, this happens a lot. Or, oh my gosh, Desi Muslim people will be like, well, I have all these needs and desires physically, so if I don't get married, then I'm going to be running around all over town and I need to. You would be so surprised. Some people are just like, well, if we don't get this kid married, boy, girl, whatever, doesn't matter. Usually a lot of guys, if we don't get them married, then they're going to go do explicit things which they should not be doing, having sexual relationship, so let's get them married. That happens a lot too. Even some people themselves will think, well, I have these needs and I have these urges and I need to go get married. It might sound crazy if you're not in that community that that happens, but it does. And they think that marriage is a quick fix. So so basically what I'm saying is that many reasons, the reason why you got married does not make it successful and last. And this is on the premise that people actually divorce. There's a lot of people that are literally in this state of, I'm tired of you, I'm not attracted to you, I can't do this, I'm not really happy or fulfilled, but this is what marriage is. There are people that are in that place that will not get a divorce because they're not allowed, or it's too hard, or it's an embarrassment, or, what will my community say? So many different things. There are people that just stay together. So I feel like more people are staying together than getting divorced. So if they actually did, the divorce rates would be much higher. Okay? So, yeah, you went into it knowing it was wrong, knowing it was not what you wanted, knowing you were settling. And what I mean by settling is not that, oh, I'm settling because that person is not good enough for me. It's, I know I want something different and I'm sort of giving up that wish or dream or desire that's inside of me, and I know it because, again, the time thing, the parent thing, the baby thing, the all of those different things. I know that there's something wrong, but I'm not listening to myself. Or some people are very unconscious. You have to be a little bit conscientious to end up realizing that, oh, okay, I need a divorce, or oh, okay, I need to revisit my relationship, or even enough conscientiousness to know, even the day of you're getting married and you're sort of not liking it, to even know that, oh yeah, I'm choosing to move forward even though something inside of me is telling me no. So, and some people will be so blind to the fact that I really am lying to myself. They will convince, you can convince your brain that this is the right thing, like, and then that little voice is like totally shut off and quiet until it's like 15, 20 years later and you're like, damn, what the hell is my life? And you're miserable, and you're fighting, maybe you're not, maybe it's boring, maybe you're always bickering, maybe you feel unfulfilled as a person and you're blaming it on the marriage, but it really was because you're underdeveloped, and your spouse is probably like, this is what we wanted, what's going on, but you're underdeveloped, so the marriage doesn't look good, so then you're going to run away from the marriage and think that it's the person's fault. And you maybe picked a great person, but because you're severely underdeveloped, not knowing how to handle your emotions, your health, your fulfillment in life, you're thinking that it's the marriage. So it's like, okay, I'm going to leave, when they're probably a perfectly good partner. So there's many different reasons why, but the main reason I would say, so this is what I meant by, there's a lot of reasons, but it's really just one, in that you went into it blindsiding it yourself, ignoring yourself, or knowing that this is not right, but you're doing it anyway. And also just understanding that marriage isn't just like a box to tick off. It is a spiritual it is a spiritual gift. So there's this common thing where it's like, oh, it's the old ball and chain, or oh, my old man, or my old woman, or your life is over. Oh, one woman for the rest of your life, one man for the rest of your life. It's like painted in this very morbid, boring, gross way, and I just don't think that that's what a marriage is supposed to be. I'm not saying it's supposed to be all good and fun and butterflies and rainbows. It's difficult, but the fruit of it is wonderful. It's beautiful. You're growing, you're changing, you're learning more about each other. There are worlds and worlds and worlds in each person. So you're waking up brand new every day. You're learning new things about each other. You're bringing up new ideas, new fun things, new challenges that grow you, that grow your love and intimacy more. It's such a beautiful vessel to invite growth and love and bliss and good fortune, and it's just not what it's painted out to be. Most people are just picking the wrong partners or the wrong time in their life or for the wrong reasons. And that's what it is. Because society or cultures talk about it like this, it's like, okay, this is just something I have to get done. Most people want to get married by 25, 30, and have a baby by 30 or 27, whatever. Anywhere between 25 and 35, or if you're a woman, 25 to 30, you want to get married and have a baby. And I hear a lot of people, I don't want to be I want to be a young father. I want to be a young mother. I think a better thing to want is, I want to be a present mother. I want to be a present father. I don't think anyone thinks about let me mature enough to know how to handle a marriage and a family. And a lot of the times we don't have that freedom. Like our parents, our culture, whatever, they don't understand. They're like, nope, you'll learn later. Like you'll learn later. No. I mean, yeah, probably will, but I'm gonna have a hard ass time to do it. A lot of the times people are taking on their childhood or previous trauma and going into a marriage, and they're not really realizing that it's not you that I hate, or it's not me that you hate. We just have a lot of baggage that we have never worked on, and now we think, and because we didn't deal with it, then we think we need to have a divorce. So, like I said, so many different aspects, but the biggest reason is the unawareness of what a marriage is and myself. Because if I know myself, I know what I want, I know how I want to be, I know how my life is going to be. And also just understanding that people do change. Like knowing that when you get into a marriage, like you're gonna be different in 5 years, 10 years, and I'm gonna be different in 5 years, 10 years might actually be a problem if you're both the same. If you're both the same, you have the same interests, the same flaws, the same everything. You're kind of living the same thing all the time. Let's do something new. Let's even if you have a challenge or a new flaw, like wow, this is new. It's not supposed to be like I said, just happy and perfect. It's kind of like when you're on the path of self-development, you're knowing yourself, you're healing, or you're discovering parts of yourself that you never know, but then you get to do it with a person. So make sure you're picking an interesting person, someone that you're going to be interested in, that you actually take stock in their growth or their emotions, their success, their health. You actually care about all those things. So no matter what area of life, what time in life, what place in the marriage, or whether it's like the beginning, middle, or end, whatever the case is, you're going to be interested in that person. You care about the person. And this is why I say, even if you do get a divorce, it doesn't need to be like a miserable divorce. Unless you married somebody who is a miserable person, then it's going to be that way. It could be rough, of course. Divorce is not easy. It's obviously the worst when it's someone who is abusive or narcissistic, or severely mentally, emotionally not well adjusted. What I mean by what it takes to make a marriage work is that this person's gonna know every single thing about you, every single thing about you, the way you sleep, the way you wake up, the way your hopes, your dreams, desires, when you're lying, when you're not. They're gonna know everything. So then you get frustrated that they're seeing so much of you, and it's like, what the hell? Like, stop it. But they're gonna see everything. So you don't realize that it's gonna push you to grow, because maybe they're gonna require something of you. Maybe the relationship or the family dynamic or something is gonna be required of you. And if you don't care about that, they're gonna be on your ass. And that's how you get in someone to be nagging, and somebody to be neglectful, and all those things. Like these little things that we don't know before we end up doing the thing. Yeah, that's a big thing. You can't escape because they're gonna know everything. You just can't escape. Okay, so a lot of people don't grow up before they get married. You might be still a little girl or a little boy in some ways. The severely underdeveloped. Like this is why I say young people, it's like I understand you want to get married and you want a partner and you want to be in love and all these things, but you want to work on yourself. Again, you don't have to go to the point where you're perfect. That's never going to happen, but you need a sense of emotional stability, you need groundedness, you need your own life, you need your own identity before you end up doing that, so that when is it something that I need to work on, when is it sometimes that I need to support you, and all these different things that will come up. So if you're still I'm trying to think of an example. It's the silliest thing. Like I'm telling you, like this is the silliest, like household chores and like these little things that people will fight about. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. Sometimes the guy is sloppy, sometimes the girl is sloppy. That's not the point. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal. Everyone should be clean and tidy, and if you're tired, I'll do it. If I'm tired, you'll do it. Like we'll help each other. A lot of people literally will just fight about that all the time, and they will not be considerate for their partner. So it's little things like that. It's like you need your parent to still clean up after you, or I'm not attracted to you anymore, or I don't feel like you're attracted to me anymore. These are a lot of insecure thoughts. And if you don't know how to increase the intimacy within each other, that is a huge skill set you need to have in a marriage, of making sure that the attraction is still there. And when you are rupturing or diminishing or hurting the intimacy, and how to repair it. If you're a little boy or a little girl, you're going to be egoic and stomp around. Oh, this is your fault. Oh, you never listened to me. Your soul can't be empathetic to each other to know how to like bring it back together. And then it's 5 years later, it's the same damn thing. It's so annoying. This is why love and marriage has a bad name, because people just don't know those basic things. Okay. A lot of Muslim people want to strive to be like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his first wife. But, and you think that, okay, I'm going to marry a Muslim guy and he's going to be like that. That's not true, bro. Like, that's not true. Just because he's Muslim does not mean he has the attributes and the beauty and the love and the gentleness and the kindness that is prescribed in our faith. We have these ideas of what it's supposed to be like, and we don't have the soulful, the empathy, the maturity, the respect, the desire, the honor, all of these different things to actually have it be beautiful and keep the intimacy and apologize and be considerate. And this is why you have to cultivate those things before marriage, with yourself. Build up your character before you end up attaching yourself to someone without knowing how to handle somebody else. There's a quote, I don't know where it's come from, but it says, when God gives you a friend, when God gives you a friend, they're giving you that friend's heart in your hand. So when you marry someone, it's even more, it's like deeper. Like, you're taking care of that person. You're committing to take care of that person, which a lot of the times, if you're still a little boy or little girl, you forget that. Basically, one, really not understanding what a marriage is, how to evolve in a marriage, and two, you got into it for the wrong reasons, or you are underdeveloped. So I guess that's three. Overall, that's three. And of course, because of these things, you can have other factors come about which make it look like that's the reason why you're getting divorced. But really, it's because of those main reasons. Now, there's abuse, there's arguments, there's infidelity, there's financial struggles, there's challenges with children. You are bringing up the children in a way that I don't approve of. So now it looks like, well, we're getting a divorce because we have way too much financial issues, and you cannot support the family, or you're not doing right by the family. So now you're making it unbearable. We can't work together. We can't communicate. I don't respect you. You don't respect me. But really, it's because you weren't developed. And this is the thing. It doesn't mean that just because you're severely underdeveloped, well, I wouldn't say severely underdeveloped. Let's say you're underdeveloped. The one of the beauty of marriage is that I committed to you. I see greatness in you, and I see that you see it too, and I'm going to support you through it. So even if you do have any of those flaws, I want to be able to talk to you about it. And I want you to feel safe and comfortable to show me your flaws or your struggles or what's going on with you. And that it's like you have like a personal lover, friend, mentor, friend that you're super duper attracted to. And you get attracted more and more and more day by day, because you see their compassion and their love and just, beauty in that way. So I'm not saying that you can't have those things in a marriage. It's about how are we dealing with it. And because a lot of us are underdeveloped, or we don't realize that that's what a marriage is for, that it's okay that I share with these things with you. Now, if you got into this marriage with like a huge big secret, that's another thing. If you have all these issues or problems or things that you walked into the marriage and now you have to continue lying, this brings me to the next answer, which was when to know when to let go. If you need to keep lying and keep lying and keep lying, and that's one, like, you can't tell the truth, you can't be yourself. That is one, and it's been like 15, 20 years. That's a surefire way of continuing to be miserable, continuing to have a lot of issues within your marriage. Just, you're going to be a lost soul, you're going to be a fallen angel, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be pissed off, you're going to argue, you're going to get mad. So there's very clear reasons of when to let go is if you're getting abused mentally, physically, verbally, and it's like a pattern and it's something that you can't break out of, you can't talk about, no counseling, treat it as an object, a given, when you're being taken for granted. There's a difference between I'm getting taken for granted within a year and two, and then there's a difference between I'm getting taken granted for the 20th, the 25th year. There's a huge difference. And to know, have I tried working on it? Have we done counseling? Some people aren't okay with counseling, they're not into it, they don't want to. That's fine, but you can't force anyone to go, you can't force your partner to go. And a lot of people think that women drag their husbands. There have been men that have brought their wives to therapy, and there have been men that went scared away because they know that I don't really want to be with this person, I'm just coming because you want me to. And then they run away and get scared. It's like, no, never mind, I don't want to do this, because they realize it's real. Okay, so this is where the conscientiousness comes in, right? You have to be a little bit reflective and really understand, have I tried everything? Have I tried to communicate? If you're talking to a wall and it's been a really long time and this wall is not budging and it just feels like I'm throwing things and nothing is sticking. If you feel alone in the marriage, if there's really no partnership, when there's no partnership and you feel like you're in the marriage alone, a lot of people are in that place where they will be married and it's like you're not caring for me, you're not here for me, you're not listening to me. You always think that there's something wrong with me. You don't end up in that place when there's wholesomeness, openness. Like that's just not the place you're supposed to be when you're in a marriage. That sounds like I'm in a relationship with you and I want to get married to you and I'm struggling to know if you really care about me. It's like a dating sort of thing. You want to be married to somebody who you have full faith in. Without doing the work or without being like actually realizing, okay, there is a problem and I need to talk about this or I need to do something about this or we need to talk about this. A lot of people are not in that place. Have I tried everything or do I need to keep lying to myself saying that I'm happy? If I'm not attracted to this person anymore, have I tried to be attracted to this person again? Depending on how much you really want it to work, you're going to try different things. You're going to be creative, not if not for that person, for yourself. And if not for that person, for you or for your kids, you're going to try something. And it just depends on, ultimately, it's going to be you internally that knows, okay, this is not working. That's where the conscientiousness comes up. That's when have I developed enough to know that this is not working? And sometimes you get married young and you think that, okay, this is what we want to do. And you can have peaceful divorces. People have gotten married at like 20, 21, 22. And then, mid 20s, they're like, I understand why we did this. And, we're still good friends. And I think you're wonderful. Like they could be two beautiful, successful, amazing people, but it's just like, it's not there. There's no click. There's no like, there's no I don't know what you call it. Like our souls are not dancing. You know what I mean? Like it could be totally nice. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as abuse and neglect and all these different things. It's just we're not dancing, we're not swaying, even in the shitty parts or the bad parts or the, whatever. We always come up and our respect and love and everything grows. It's really up to you when you can't lie to yourself anymore, when you can't be in this place of confusion or and fulfillment, or you try to talk to the person and they have no idea what you're talking about. Well, I'm good. I'm not. Similar to relationships, if you can't be honest with the person, if you don't feel safe, if you have to hide things, if you're starting to act on other attractions, really you got to look at what's really going on. Is this what I want? Is this what I want, the marriage that I have, or is the outside world what I want? Well, then why did I do this? You got to have that dialogue within yourself, then bring it to the person. And then, but if you're with someone that's abusive or narcissistic, they ain't gonna let you go. They are not gonna let you go. They're gonna want to keep you. They're gonna want to possess you. They're gonna want to be like, how could you do this? They're not going to want to let you go. So, when it comes to that situation, you have to be really safe and take the steps alone or with the therapist. Just protect your mind, your energy, your emotions as much as you can. So, that's a different situation. The thing that makes our soul and vessel just shrink. I'm not inspired. I'm not thrilled, I'm not amazed. And like, again, life is not supposed to be perfect, but it's not supposed to be dull and bleh. Like, that's not how a marriage is supposed to be. I'm so sorry. That's not, and you can have a rut. You can have, of course, like if you're having a struggle in the beginning, or you're having health issues, financial stuff, children, like it's going to press you. There's going to be a time, that might not be the best. Those are real life things. Look at my face. You can see on my face, like that's, yeah. But what keeps it together is the compassion, the respect, the support. Now, if the compassion, the respect, support, consideration, all those things are not there, that's what makes it ugh. It's like you being there with me and us working together makes me feel like we can handle it together. Not many people are in marriages like that. Also, it's like I don't even know this person anymore. I don't know who you are. I thought I knew you. Does that mean you didn't know me well enough beforehand, or I expected you to be a certain way? There's no definitive real answer to when to know when to let go, but whatever struggle you're having, whether it be financial, intimacy, communication, whatever it is, if you feel like you've done everything, you've tried, you've spoken to the person, and you've waited, you've been patient, you guys have tried things, you feel like the other person is actually trying too, but ultimately it's just not there. It really is up to you how much longer you want to try, what left is there to try, whether you want to seek professional help, and also when you just know and you're freaking lying to yourself, because the only thing that's going to make you try is if you really really have heart for this person, you have respect and love for this person, you care for this person, you care for yourself, you're gonna want to try. And you just have to be that type of person. If you're the type of person that's like very 3D, very like, okay, this is life and this is marriage, whatever, I'm just gonna, that's like, you don't have conscientiousness, your soul isn't opening, your soul isn't talking to you, or you're so 3D where you're just not even paying attention. You don't even have connection to your gut, your soul, your heart. You'll just sit there, and the other person might be just like really miserable of like, this is not okay, I'm not okay. If you're that person that you really care and you want to live a beautiful life, you want to live a meaningful life and have a meaningful marriage and all these things, you're going to ask these questions, confront the situation, confront it within yourself and the other person. Even if you did make, not know what a marriage is, or you were too young, or you weren't developed, or you had trauma, whatever, even if any of those things happen, if you have the heart for yourself, for the person, you're going to go talk about it. You're going to try to do these things. And then you're going to see if you get backlash or support, or, good signs to stay together, or signs that show that, this really isn't going to work. A lot of us haven't seen a beautiful, successful, loving marriage. And that's why we're just so freaking confused. We have no idea what the hell we're walking into or what it takes. We have an idea of maybe what the movies show or what our parents tell us what to expect and blah, 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 all these things. But we walk into it not really knowing. It's not our fault, honestly. You can still salvage your life. Doesn't matter where in life you are. Doesn't matter if you're married or not, or if you're in the shittiest places. Like I said, if you're unmarried or you're about to get married, or you are already married, or you're contemplating divorce, it doesn't really matter. Wherever you're at, wherever your soul is, your soul is always with you. So as long as you're checking in, okay, so like if you're not married, why do I really want to get married? Is there something that I'm trying to placate to, or have I really found someone that I'm interested in, or have I really understood? Am I being called to, do this? And why would you even be called to a marriage? There's so many reasons why you might be called to a marriage. Let's say you're married. All right, so am I feeling like there's something wrong? Am I on this video because there's really something going on? Okay, so am I lying to myself about something? Do I feel like there's something wrong? Okay, assess it with yourself. Talk to your soul. And then if you are, contemplating on like, I'm miserable, I'm getting a divorce. Okay, so I'm ready to stop lying to myself. Now, is my partner going to also be ready to stop lying to me? Can we do this? So it doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you are in communication with your own soul that's telling you, what does this mean to me? Why am I doing this? How am I really feeling? Being completely and totally honest with yourself. Have that relationship with your soul, your spirit, your creator. You will be guided if you just don't lie to yourself. If that's all you get from this, then I'm happy. You need to be honest with yourself. And you really need to understand that you have free will and choice of how you live, and you don't have to have a marriage or a relationship that looks like anybody else's. Know yourself really, really deeply to know what kind of marriage do I really want? What kind of relationship do I really want? Expand yourself in that way, and you'll know which way to go. Let your soul and your gut and your emotions lead you. And I'm not saying to believe all of your emotions, but use your logic and your spirit to both to understand what do you really need? What do you really need at this time for this relationship, for your future relationship? So I hope this helped. I love you so much. Thank you.